Hello everyone and welcome to Malta Vibes, brought to you by Gaming Malta, a home of gaming excellence. It is another day and we have another groups of Counter-Strike action ready and waiting to go for you. Our Group B opening match between Dignitas and Singularity is almost ready. My name is Protalis and talking you through today's action with me is going to be DK Truman. What do you think about these opening matches?
I think that we're getting a nice little present gifted to us. Dignitas, of course, mostly the old NIP lineup, so it is a very top-heavy team. Very excited to see how they have trained themselves after the player break. Up against Singularity, a team that has not the greatest results in the recent past, but they are playing on a very good map for them, so that might actually turn things around. So it is going to be a pretty close match, I think, between the two sides. Of course, Singularity having been playing a little bit more than NIP in recent memory, so they might still have that feeling in their fingers.
Obviously, been shaking up the roster a little bit recently as well. Team Singularity with new additions there of Nico does on that AWP. So definitely the changes being made as well. Remoy joining just in June also. So there have been recent changes made to that Danish roster. They might not have the most cohesive lineup in the world heading forward. Whereas Dignitas, this is the side who've been together a long time now. These are players who just have so much name value. You look and just read this roster and it must be absolutely terrifying for some of these young Danes on Singularity to be going up against. And Dignitas, I think they're going to be coming into this cup as an opportunity to warm themselves up as the tournament calendar heads forwards, try to get themselves back in match form, and they'll be looking to start things off well today and dust off the cobwebs with a victory in this opening best of one. I do agree with you. I think Singularity is certainly going to have their work cut out for them.
Yeah, it's also a nice experience for the young players of Singularity, because these are like, if you grow up, playing CSGO, your idea is becoming a pro. You definitely have seen these guys play multiple times. Everyone remembers the historic run, of course, of old school NIP ages ago, but still, they're still legends in the game. And I mean, personally, I would be so excited to play up against these big teams, these big names.
You absolutely have to be when you have legends just there in the server with you. And they're called legends for a reason. Players like Forrest and Get Right can still turn up and take over games if they're able to find form in these individual maps. So there definitely is the possibility, well, I'd say more than the possibility, for that Dignitas roster to really show us something special here on Inferno. Let's not forget about Halzerk as well, the younger Norwegian AWPer brought over from Nordavind. We've yet to see him really blossom into the AWPing talent that I think he can be, but obviously he's had a lot of time in that player break to be working on his own personal game. And the map of Inferno, one where AWPers are relatively significant as well. They can be incredibly useful on the CT side, especially to just wrestle that opening pick over immediately and make sure you have a man advantage early on.
Yeah, it's a nice aggressive. Yeah, I mean, there are two spots pretty much which you op, and that is, of course, mid towards T-ramp, or pretty much T-ramp, the banana peak. So those are most of the time the most aggressive peaks that the CTs go for. Sometimes if you have balls of steel, you go deep into the mid push, or you go for the apps peak. But that one, I mean, you have most of the time you do get shut down, but it is one of those snap moves. If they're not paying attention, you could get that quick man advantage. And I personally don't recall seeing Halzerk play, so I am very curious on what kind of a playstyle he is going to be having in this upcoming game. If he's going to go for the passive op or the aggressive one, which is, of course, always a lot more interesting, but it has its massive drawbacks.
It certainly does. Obviously, getting over aggressive with that AWP, risk sacrificing the most expensive weapon realistically your side's going to have on the roster, and then going a man down too early on are incredibly risky factors to consider, especially when you realize we're looking at a best of one series ahead here, and any mistakes are going to be severely punished at this point in time. And these best of one maps, they do also tend to lean themselves towards the underdogs. It is more upset potential in this format that is more prone to lending itself to whichever side has built that early momentum. So Singularity, if they can really just come out of the gates here on Inferno, start charging forward and building early momentum, that could really be beneficial to them in a best of one, especially if it's Dignitas who start on the CT side, because if they can take control of the T side economy very early on in a best of one format on Inferno, that's going to be very difficult to recover from.
Yeah, it is crucial that they win the knife round here on Singularity, because as their win rate on this map, they had about 68% win rate on the CT side, but that means that their T side is not as strong. And I mean, a seasoned lineup like Dignitas, they know both sides. They know all the smokes, mollies, everything that they need to know, because they've played this map in the previous iteration and every iteration out there, and they know exactly how to run down. I mean, this used to be the NIP map. It used to be their playground. Freiburg and Banana just completely crushing everyone out, and you really do not want to give them that CT advantage or push yourself onto the T side. That's why the knife round is going to be very crucial here for the side of Singularity to actually win it.
I would certainly agree with you as well when you look at the fact that for Dignitas, they have one of the most tenured in-game leaders in Counter-Strike on that roster in the form of Exist. You know, he's not just won with the Swedish players as well. He's obviously done stints in FaZe Clan as a stand-in and helped those iterations of those rosters win tournaments also. So this is a player who has a lot of experience in this in-game leading position. And against a slightly younger Danish side, I have a feeling they might be falling more and more into default strategies throughout this map. Some of the more common play styles as they are trying to gel team cohesion themselves and really sort of just trying to build a system with this new roster within Singularity, whereas Dignitas on the experience side of things, I think that's why their T sides are so much stronger. With an experienced in-game leader, you're going to be more effectively able to maneuver those CTs around by faking out your utility on either side and then converting that into an attack on the weaker bomb side.
Yeah, you are exactly right there. I mean, the experience of Exist is going to be detrimental. And the fact that Singularity is a newly formed roster, they still, you know, some call-outs are going to need to have some work, some way that they talk with each other. Just if you have been with a team for so many years, you know each other's patterns, you know how your teammates are going to peek, how they're going to walk, how they're going to act. They don't even have to talk. So that for a flash, for instance, they just know that a flash is coming over from a teammate. That is the sort of mentality, that the sort of team play that you need to build up. And because Singularity are a reasonably new roster, they still have to practice that. They still have to get used to each other. And I am very interested to see how far they are in their play style together, because I've seen multiple teams, even teams that have been together for years, where they still sometimes make the mistakes of accidentally team flashing, you know, not holding the flank or not holding your teammates back. And those are like the most crucial things. The things that don't need any communication are the most crucial things in CSGO.
You're absolutely right. Just those few milliseconds of miscoordination can really punish you in critical scenarios. And ladies and gentlemen, it looks like we are ready to get into the game. The knife round between today's opening teams of Singularity and Dignitas about to get underway here on Inferno to dictate which side will started on in our opening map. Both obviously going to be vying for that CT side, but as we mentioned, it's all the more important for Singularity to get every advantage they can.
And it is looking to be a start for Singularity, unless Toby's does make a big mistake. But yeah, no, Singularity should start on the CT side with that knife round victory. Unless they're going to try to play some mind games, which, yeah, no, they're not going to do anything dangerous in that regard. They're just going to take the safer option.
Well, it's a slightly safer option. They're never really going to be 100% safe against this Dignitas squad here on Inferno. I'm certainly interested to see what our partners over at LootBet think about this match, and they seem to pretty much follow my own wavelength here. Dignitas, the heavy favourites, and Singularity really going to need something special to pull out if they want the win.
To be fair, for best of one, I think, you know, that those are pretty steep odds, especially with Singularity starting on the CT side. This looks like a value bet all over, personally. I mean, there's not really a lot to make in the Dignitas bet, of course. What was it, 1.22? They are getting aggressive, though, on Singularity, pushing towards mid. They do not get a kill onto Forest, but the flash comes through. Halzerk gets one, gets a second. They will, however, trade it out so far. Long-range fights against the USPs, but luckily Halzerk does and Exist both have P250s. It's a 2 versus 2. They have the bomb, and they just left the B side completely alone on Singularity.
Rotating over to A, seemingly expecting perhaps that there was Apartment's presence coordinating with that mid-aggression, but they have now realized that B might be the target. Dignitas have a smoke available to drop in CT as well and just get closer to that bomb site. And both sides here in the 2-on-2 have one armored player and one without. Kit on Tobies, so there is going to be more time available for this retake for Singularity, and they're both going to be aggressing in through construction. These P250s at range are going to need to land the shots. Exist has found the first and left Tobies alone. Position given away now as he peeks through. He's got to find 2 clinical shots to secure the pistol for his team, and as he aggresses forward, Halzerk finishes things off for Dignitas. A triple for Exist and a double for the Norwegian AWPer as Dignitas pick up the opening round here on Inferno.
Yeah, that was, well, it was complete free side for them. Singularity, it does look like they're going to go for the force up. Another map with close angles. You could play that Apartments with a Deagle, and if they walk in, or the CZ for Nico, and if they walk in anywhere in close range, you tap them down. Also, the angles are very easy to get a headshot on, especially, for instance, this mid angle, where you know where there's always going to be a T player on ramp trying to get a nice shot in, but, you know, Jiggle Peek, Deagle can easily clean up a scalp.
Certainly can. Dignitas aware that they have to be slightly careful in this round. They'd rather not lose too many weapons to these Deagles as they are peeking Banana. Remo is not going to be able to find too much with this Deag and has to back away towards the B site. That's given Banana control away to Dignitas, and it hasn't prompted any rotations from the Danes yet either, so it looks like it's going to be a 2-man defense for them to try and wrestle out as they bring the bomb further up Banana as well. They're definitely considering a B execution. They're just having Forest wait for that mid-aggression before they commit. This smoke, in fact, might deter them away as they've drawn the rotations into the A bomb site. Now they can attack a solo defender over on A.
Yeah, and Singularity completely falling back. They're very quick on their rotations the entire time. It's a very dangerous move, of course. They just go for the gamble stack, hope that the Dignitas are going to rush B, and if that's the case, they might run into a pretty dangerous gamble stack, but they are just going to hit that A site, and it's all on Tobies trying to defend the site on his lonesome. The rest of his team are probably going to be saving their weapons. Retaking is kind of futile at this point.
I certainly agree with you, unless Tobies can pull off some kind of miracle with his CZ here in the pit. All of Dignitas going to be creeping in, and you have to expect them to peek this, but he's missing the shots regardless. Get Right will take him down with the MP5, and you're absolutely right. Singularity, they're not going anywhere. They'd rather just sit over on this B bomb site and save the pistols. They might have a look towards CT for some cheeky exits, but it is going to be a Dignitas second round, and Singularity saving the pistols to bring forward in round 3.
Well, that's an interesting Deagle. Is that new? Doesn't ring a bell to me, at least. I always like to pay attention to what kind of new Deagle skins there are. Not that I am at all a Deagle player, but yeah, there's not a lot happening left this round. Freiburg's trying to get a little bit of extra cash from that Mach 10, but they'll most likely be able to keep almost everyone alive. Maybe Remoy, nah. Freiburg is just going to back off, and they get themselves a nice little padding of the bank account.
And bringing the 4 pistols forward, it's not so much of a nightmare. The odds that Singularity would have gamble stacked one of the bomb sites there anyway and just been trying to retake with 3 players, even if they hadn't rotated over towards the B bomb site and stacked it up, is just so high that they might as well have saved those pistols forward. They'd have been on the full eco otherwise in this round, and retaking would have been so futile over on that A bomb site. Now they do have a better chance to find some damage, but their pushes towards Banana are going to be stalled by this Dignitas utility as they are working into aggressive positions towards the top of Banana. You can definitely see Singularity peeking around and hoping they can find something. They've drawn players in with the nades, but Freiburg backs away just far enough to survive. Remoy's found cell rate, however, and Ronick does tag Freiburg down to 5, but hasn't been able to secure the kill.
Oh, there's a decent amount of damage dealt, especially Ronick down as well, but they need to be careful on the Dignitas side because, well, they did lose Get right there. Freiburg is still 1 bullet away from dropping. Nico does pick up an SMG, falls back towards A site, and they're going to go for that B push close range. Steezy should be cleaned up, but the distraction coming in. Nice catch from Exist. Grabs both of them, and now it's all on Nico. He is just going to be, I guess, saving his armor and flash. And I mean, it's not a great gun to take into the next round, but they don't have the most amount of money on their team, so he should be able to pick up an op. I guess Nico is the opper with the amount of money that he has left.
That is correct. He is the primary AWPer for the Singularity side, and to be honest with you, Singularity might want to be utilizing this MP5 in the upcoming round. The likelihood that Dignitas bring forward the 2 SMGs that they saved is fairly high, and the Singularity cache isn't too flush either. I'm sure they'd like a full complement of utility, so if they can get 3 rifles supporting Nikodoz's AWP, then maybe the MP5 isn't such a nightmarish weapon to bring forward.
They do have definitely, I mean, you probably want to go for the M4, but it's not really that necessary. You can go for full utility if you drop that gun over to an ally. Nico has an op with full utility behind it. This is looking like a very, no, he's even going to toss away that SMG. Yeah, this decent enough buy 1 kit on their side, so that Nico's going to be, yeah, he has to keep an eye on where he's going to drop that kit, of course, because his team needs to retrieve it if the bomb plant comes in. Quick peek through mid, but the flash is going to get Nico off the angle, and if he's going to re-peek it, nah, there is a player very close though. Halzerk might get into his angle, but Nico is smart enough to just fall back, and it looks like a pretty heavy A push coming in already from the side of Dignitas.
They're happy to walk straight into this stack. Toby is at close range, has found the first kill, assisted by Accelerate. Getrate will reply with 1, but the trades go either way as Exist chimes in the A bomb site, and smokes dropped should allow the plant to come in on this side of the map. 3 rifles up now from Dignitas as they upgrade from SMGs, and they still have a smoke available to stall this retake from Singularity. With the bomb down, they are continuing to move back in the Danes. They have an AWP available on this retake as well, but it's Remoy at close range who really has to be a successful bait for his teammate. He's found an opening kill even, and Exist is struggling onto Nikodos, but that smoke is going to buy him room to maneuver. Advancing in our Singularity, and Roddick's found another kill. Nikodos can finish it off, and Singularity, they will come out on top of the first full gun round of Inferno.
Very nice defense coming out. That kit, of course, going to be useful. Not that it matters too much, but a very good defense from Singularity nonetheless. Pretty even spread around with those kills compared to the Dignitas side, which is kind of strange that you see they are 3 rounds ahead, but 4 is still on 0, Freiburg on 0, but Exist, the in-game leader, on 7 frags so far, is saving up 6k. Why is he saving up money and not buying any utility? He's going for the full rush towards Banana, and he's charging in. Nice spray down. They've managed to get Remoy. This is a very aggressive rush forward, but the flashes are holding them back, and with that nade on top, a lot of damage dealt by Ronick. They will hold that B site for now. Swapping over towards the M4, Exist gets a little bit lucky that he doesn't get annihilated when he picks up that M4. The rotation coming through as well from Kelray to try and help out. The flash is flying through. Everyone is blind all of a sudden, and they know that there's one first. Oranges. Ronick does get to the forest. Sprays him through the box. Another one for Ronick. Halzer gets rid of Toby's, and it's now, I mean, Ronick has to go big. Another one does spot the head, but will not be able to take him out. Peeks through the smoke. Cellrate gets a double spray down, and there is only one left towards well, exists on site. He is the man with the most frags in the server right now and is going to fall back, has the bomb on his back, and could be able to rotate it all the way back towards A, where there's, of course, no defense, is out of range for them, for the Singularity squad to hit the steps, and this is a big rotation coming in from Exist, giving him a lot of time for the post plant as well.
He should at least get the bomb plant down here, but he doesn't have any utility available, and Nico has a smoke molotov and 2 flashes to work with, so Singularity on this retake should have a much easier task of things. They look a little bit confused as they're actually just swapping the AWP around between each other, putting it onto the lower HP player, advancing in. Exist has it all to do with just 18 HP. He really does have to land the miracle shots and ideally take down the rifler at first opportunity. The molotov is deployed into the pit. Nico does at close range, hasn't shot him just yet. He's still alive, Exists, but eventually Stellarate can get him through the wall. Defusing absent a kit, he should have just enough time to finish this one off for Singularity. And Dignitas, they might have to be looking ahead to the ecos. That was much closer than they would have liked.
That was way too scary, especially with the other player holding that kit, and he was like, let me tap it, let me tap it. If it would have exploded, that would have been disastrous, but they managed to hold on Singularity. Unfortunately, Exist could not get the spray to connect to get rid of the rifler, as you said, but he still got the bomb plant in and a full buy coming in for Dignitas. Halzerk is without utility though, but he does have that big green stick. So let's see if that aggressive T-op will pay off.
The Dignitas bank not quite broken, but perhaps at the end of this round, it might be starting to thin out a little bit. Singularity doing well to bring this scoreline back, and they'd be looking for the tied score with a round victory here in number 6. Dignitas this time playing much more passively towards the bottom of mid and waiting for all of this CT utility to be used up before they decide to advance. They are going to drop smokes into the A bomb site, and currently it is lightly defended. Ronick rotating in, but he won't have anything to do about this top mid control. The smokes instead are what slow Dignitas down as Singularity begin to rotate in a 4th player to this bomb site.
It's going to be a pretty big execute. Not a lot of utility on both sides. Left rush in. The flash is raying through, but he is completely blind. Ronick and Salary both get it down to his name. Toby turns around. Nice 180 to get rid of get right, and now it is all on Exist. The USB does get one, but Halzerk, he needs to get the flick connection to Ronick, but will fall nonetheless. Did manage to get 2 kills with the op, but all of a sudden Singularity even out the map so far, and Dignitas, they're forced to go on a very weak bye for the next round.
They certainly are. You have to expect this to be the hard eco from them. It looks like they are going to be investing a little bit into some body armor and the likes, because their loss bonus is at the point where they'll be able to buy utility regardless. So a couple of upgraded pistols, Forrest and Freiburg as well, with the luxury of body armor in this round. And Exist loving this aggression so far. Very fast kill onto Tobias, but Ronick with the second there. Make sure the man advantage stays in Singularity's flavor, at least for the moment. All of the body armor now reduced to just 1 player on the Dignitas side.
Yeah, there's not a lot left in this round. They don't have any armor on their players, so this, unless Singularity give them a very big catch. For instance, Ramoy here, if he gets 1 digged in Banana, that means B is completely clear. I'm actually kind of wondering why Singularity is hiding with 2 players on site. Oh, and that's what I talked about. That's going to be the B side clear. They're going to rush forward. The rotation from Nico coming in. If they could take him down, he's the operator. You could take him easily with the long range fight, but they're not going to double peek. He does get the cross in. Peeks back instead of going for the bomb plant, and Forrest will fall. Nico with a great defense coming through. Unfortunately, they did not have any utility on Dignitas to make that cross.
And now we have an opportunity to talk about our case partners over at Hellcase. If you use those promo codes MaltaV and MaltaV15, you can save more and grab what you deserve. Dignitas don't need to save in this round as they now can bring the full guns out. Hulzerk is going to be absent utility, but this Singularity CT side has been relatively impressive so far. Shutting Dig down. They're getting aggressive this time though, and in Banana, they have now won the opening engagements, but that Molotov finds Forest in the late instance and brings it back into a 3-on-3. Freiburg is so low as well. That has been a theme of this Dignitas T side. They've been taking tremendous amounts of utility damage.
Yeah, they keep on rushing down towards... I mean, if you keep on rushing Banana every single round, then they'll just keep on tossing the utility back because it keeps on working. Nico, however, on the close angle does need to be careful that he doesn't get flashed off, for instance. He is the last man standing on the site, and if they get a 1-for-1 trade, it is a nice bomb plant indeed. It's going to be the peek in. He gets rid of the low HP player. It's going to fall all the way back to New Box, and... well, that's a very obvious... point from Nico, but Get Right still manages to secure the kill. That is really surprising that Nico did not spot him out, even though it was his entire plan throwing down that smoke.
Great pre-fire then from Get Right. Great awareness, but Cellrate's taken him down above the boxes. Hulzerk has at least been able to plant, but now the Flames, they look like they're going to come straight through the smoke at him. They boost up onto the flower pots instead, and he takes the close range flank through construction. Tobi's seemingly aware of this though. Hulzerk knows that he needs to pull off this 1v2. They're likely to aggress at the same time, and so he's going to have to use pixel perfect movement. That's the first flick, but he's paranoid about the flank from construction. Hearing that smoke, he knows it has to be closer within the site though. He pushes forward and looks for Cellrate. He can land that shot as well. Breaks the Singularity streak and allows Dignitas their 4th T-side round.
And that's when you can finally see that star op that you were talking about. 824 has completely recovered after the... well, once he finally picked up that op. I think he's had 5 op kills so far. Not really 100% sure on the number, but he has done a tremendous amount of work for his team with a great 1 versus 2 clutch when Get Right got caught off by standing in a pretty unaware position up on top of second oranges.
Well, the buy's not perfect for either side in this round. SMGs and Galils on the T side, but it's pistols and 1 MP9 to support the solo M4 of Nico does. Freiburg's taken down Remoy as well, but needs to be careful as Ronick at close range can really punish with that MP9. Tobi's has found kills, and so has Cellrate with his Deagle, but eventually it's actually onto his teammate he shoots down with that headshot. He's then cleaned up by Dignitas, and the remaining 2 Singularity players, they might just want to save these rifles as they go and hide in T-spawn.
Yeah, very... Dignitas like themselves some quick rounds, bait out a little bit utility for the first round, and then go in hard, guns blazing. And it does work out because, of course, Singularity were on weaker weaponry. That could have gone a lot worse if Singularity had a decent enough buy there. But it does pay off for Dignitas. And, I mean, if they manage to get at least, you know, 6 rounds on the T side, that is already enough for Dignitas. So every round after the upcoming win possibly would be much appreciated.
On the slightly more difficult T side as well, Dignitas, they're definitely going to be wanting as many early round wins as they can get. If they could get about 6 on the board, I'd have confidence in their abilities on the CT side, but really they're in a position where they could get 8 or more if they play their cards right here, as this Singularity buy isn't the strongest.
If they shot him down, they went for a full buy again. That's going to be a full eco if they get rid of all the guns on the Singularity side. So at this point, with a decent amount of money, now they don't actually have that much money on Dignitas' side either. Just opting for, again, that mech, and he really does love to try and rake in some cash for his teammates so that he can drop them some guns. Oh, that's a sneaky little walk up. That way you at least don't make any sound when you make the jump.
That's allowed them to get aggressive apartments control. And the smoke's going down on the A site. There are 3 defenders here, and Nikodas is frantically rotating close to the side, but Exist has just overwhelmed him with that Mac 10. He has info on both players, but his teammate are missing the timing on these peaks. Close range Halzer can't get anything done with that, but Forrest, nice 180. Unfortunately, can't convert it into any more. Dignitas there, just missing out on the opening frags. It looked like weren't quite in the right positions to refrag, and it's allowed Singularity to tie things up once again.
Yeah, that was a round where they just, I mean, that's pretty much what they've been doing. They just try to brute force their way in, but without any solid mollies, flashes, and whatnot. Well, the flashes were nice, but they didn't have anything mollied or smoked off, so they were just running out in the open. And with Tobis on balcony, he got a lot of damage dealt. They quickly swap over the guns because Tobis is down on HP. The buy of Singularity is looking really good. The buy of Dignitas a little bit weaker, but they did do a decent amount of damage to Tobis. And they're going to go for the boost here. This actually does get spotted out a lot more than you would expect. Like, the flick from the tees is very quick on that angle on top of a new box. Well, these days, the old box.
You sure like to be punished with the headshot as well. Once you flicked up to that angle, virtually any weapon's going to be taking you down instantly, you know, as long as it's a competent buy from the T side. They are going to be creeping into this B bomb site, and the fact that they've got top banana control without having to commit any utility is brilliant, because it means no rotations are going to come back forward. They can get out in front of the smoke, but Remoy's found the opening kill. Romic can reply with at least a double, but now they've taken him down, and they look to put the bomb down in the site as well. Holzerk on the AWP, and Get Right with an AK in hand to defend against this one. Holzerk atop the smoke is desperate to find this opener. He's completely blinded by the flash though, and now may have missed his opportunity as Tobis is in the safe angle. Nikodas predicts his position, and he has to drop down and wait for the advance.
The utility coming in, peeks out wide, nice shot onto Nico, and they do not pay attention to where he is standing. They know where the last player is in banana. Get Right sprays him down through the smoke, headshot onto Tobis, and Dignitas get themselves round number 6. That was a nice couple of shots from Halzuk, though I am surprised that, who was the second guy that he shot? That he was just, he had a side to him. Celery should never have been looking inside the construction. His teammate should have cleared it out, because he just, well, yeah, that's just weird.
Minor individual mistakes there from Singularity, and it may just have cost them control of this first half. They have to drop down onto a dodgy buy yet again, and Dignitas now really in the driving seat with the opportunity to at least put 7 rounds on the board with a win here, and potentially the 8-5 scoreline, assuming the Singularity eco comes through after this one. So this is an opportunity for Dignitas now to take a firm lead in this first half. They're waiting for Singularity aggression and utility expenditure, but there's only 1 smoke and 3 flashes available for the Danes to utilize.
It's a tough round. That last round with the way they were picking, I think that is the you know, not gelled yet together, because normally you would have the full faith in your teammate to clear out an angle while you hold another one down. But we're not talking about last round, we're talking about this one. They're playing first and second oranges on Singularity. Very sneaky angle. You're going to peek into both at the same time. If they get mollied, oh, that's a big molly. They have to smoke it off, and that gives a lot of intel. Ronick is going to peek out wide. Mac 10 is not going to win this time, Exist. Can't always win, but they still have one on side. Gamoy, he does spray down Freiburg, but eventually loses his life, and that is going to be a Singularity saving. I mean, they just have to save whatever they have right now, because they've got nothing for the next round.
Unfortunately for the Danes, they do not. Dignitas pick up their 7th rather well on the B bomb site, and now we'll be looking for the easy 8th as well, as that Singularity economy has really entered a dire position towards the end of this first half. Get Right as well aware that there could be Singularity players aggressing from banana. They won't be advancing any further. Instead, they wait for any retreating Dignitas players to grace their crosshairs, but it looks like only Dignitas has the potential to do that, and he may not even advance far enough. But actually in the late round, all of Dig look to be moving down Banana, but they won't be extending too far. They're aware what could be waiting for them, and instead they look ahead to their easy 8th round in the next.
Yeah, keep their money good as well, because they are still not out of the danger zone when they lose another round. They will have the full AK buy, and I mean, Singularity, they can't afford to go for anything. Maybe a P250 on one, but that's about as much as they can afford right now. And it should be a clear-cut round for Dignitas, but you never want to, you never want to call it too early. There's always a mistake to be made. There's always USPs to reign supreme, or to walk into the double CZ that they have inside apps. So I would assume that they're going to be playing a little bit passive. Big damage onto Tobias, spamming through the wall. Tobias actually gets headshotted again. Exists. That is always just hurtful. It keeps on tapping away. So much damage has been dealt without seeing a single player yet. He just keeps on tapping. At this point, you just fall back because it's terrible. Oh no, Nico!
So much damage, and that is what experience really does give you. Exist knows that when Singularity are going to be on an eco, they're so likely to be taking these close range positions in the apartments to try and utilize the most effective range of their weapons, that I might as well just be spamming through. He's done enough damage to kill 2 players, although he's only found 1 and wounded the others. They are actually going to try and advance into a stack day bomb site now, Dignitas, leaving Hulzerk just to protect from the banana push. They'll deploy the utility at least, but moving in, they could still have some issues, and this could still be a costly round.
It is still a nice little stack coming out for Singularity, so you got to be careful that you don't run into the blender into the firing squad, because the first person that peeks might just get completely annihilated depending on where the utility of Dignitas falls. Course, terrifying jump through. Get right jumps on top of him. That's already the first one to fall, but they will just clean up the entire side. CZ in hand. Nico does get rid of Freiburg, but they're gonna lose 2 players with the buy from Singularity. It's honestly not that bad. But it is not going to be enough. They'll be having enough for the last round. Anyway, if Dignitas manage to lose this one, and Singularity, they're going to go for the full buy. No op, however, for Nico. And that is pretty much the name of the game on their CT side. It's been taken away from him almost the entire time.
And that's effective economic management from Dignitas here on the T side of things. He's dropped down onto a slightly less effective scope weapon with the AUG, but look at this Molotov damage that both Remoy and Ronick have taken towards top banana. They've done it to get aggressive positions, but they could just get cleaned up here. Really a bit of a mistake there from Singularity. They wanted to change up the pace and force early kills, as Dignitas had really been committing early on in Banana on a few occasions previously, but unfortunately they aren't able to accomplish anything. And now with no utility remaining, it's going to be Remoy alone on 30 HP to defend the B bomb site. Thankfully for him though, Dignitas have yet to commit to a bomb site.
Yeah, it's a very aggressive, greedy play, but without any distractions from any other angle. The entirety of Dignitas could just focus on the banana push. I mean, if you have someone peeking balcony or something, at least that will distract them a little bit. It is going to be a mid push. They're going for a full stack towards that A side. Big nade damage onto Tobis. They're playing their utility game very well indeed on both sides. And Tobis in the cubby will exist to spot him out first. Gonna peek out wide, that's the question. He is gonna peek out wide, and Exist wins that duel. The last 3 on site. Singularity, is their stack going to pay off? They are grouped up nicely, but they do still have a nade going towards graveyard, and big nade from Get Right. They've been playing that angle the entire time. Last 2 on site, and Celebrate with a double, but will not win it up against Freiburg. That's going to be 9 for Dignitas. Singularity, well, this is looking very problematic. Hopefully they will be able to turn this one around in the last one, and then win the pistol to give them a shot at taking the series.
Oh yeah, huge nightmare at the start of the CT side of Inferno. That's a 4-man stack in the A bomb site that Dignitas just walk into and dismantle each player one by one. Now they hunt down double digits in this first half, and Singularity face the more difficult side of the map in the second half, where they will be coming back potentially from a 5-round deficit. Nico does as at too long a range to have an effective go with that shotgun, and Cellray is slightly too late to clean up Get Right as well. So he has to back away into the apartments, and Dignitas have to settle with Singularity have to settle with Dignitas having the opening kill.
Utility-wise, Singularity have pretty much nothing left. That is a shoddy buy at best, and they're gonna go for the full stack A again. I mean, that's pretty much their biggest CT defensive strat is just, you know, you lose a player, let's stack and hope that they all walk into your crosshairs. But Dignitas, after the first part of their T side going full aggressive every round, they have slowed down significantly and are playing the info game more. And it seems it's going to be paying off because they're going to get a free bomb site, and Singularity are none the wiser. This seems to be the round already over, especially without a single kit on the side of Singularity either. And it's going to take them forever to actually reach that B bomb site.
Great play from Dignitas. The last 2 consecutive rounds, they hit A very late on in terms of time and were still able to win, so nothing suggests they switch their strategy now. But Forrest has found a kill through the smoke, making this a 3-on-5 as he just continues to spray and deal so much damage. Tobis gets taken down, Ronick can only get 1, and Cellrate's molly at least finds exist, but now his FAMAS has to find 3 more elite players, and Forrest has found the final kill of the half onto him. It is double digits for Dignitas on the T side of Inferno, and as we check in on the scoreboard at the end of the first half, it is Exist leading the way on 17 kills. Hulzerk, Cellrate and Ronick all trailing behind him on 12.
That's a massive showing on Exist, especially because he's been playing with that weak Mac 10 most of the game to try and get his teammates some extra cash, because he likes to drop them AKs and just run around headshotting people. 17 kills for the IGL. That's a pretty big score to begin the season again. And Dignitas looking pretty solid. Now that it's going to be their CT side, will they be able to perform on that one as well? Singularity, they have to win this pistol to give them a solid chance. And our partners at LootBet show the exact... Well, I think that's a little bit steep, but it does show exactly how the game is going. 9.2 odds for Singularity, 1.03 for Dignitas. Remoy does start it off by taking out Freiburg, but it is going to be a 1-for-1 trade with Exist getting rid of Ronick in mid.
Dig might want to start rotating players over towards this B bomb site. They are going to start sending Forrest and Halzerk over there, but it might be Get Right having to hold on, at least in the early instances. The rotators have now arrived in defensive positions, and not a second too late either, as the smokes and molotovs are being deployed by Singularity. They force Get Right away. He can drop a flash to try and delay this input, but Hulzerk has been found. That is ridiculous! Forrest, what on earth is that quad kill? Absolute insanity, and he shuts down Singularity.
Wow, that was... I want to watch this replay. Bots, and then... Oh, this is just clean.
What is that? That is insane from the Swedish veteran, denying Singularity any way into the B bomb site. What on earth? That could be play of the week.
That one was massive, and that puts Singularity pretty much, well, they're going to eco this one, so that should be a solid 12-5. Will they be able to force something nice in the buy round? They will have the superior weaponry, most likely, in the buy round. If they could drop a M4 or something in this round, that would be a big plus on their side, but it is going to be tough with just the Glocks to try and beat down one of these armored goons from Dignitas.
Hulzerk's already found Tobis, and Exist opens up onto Ronick now. They're going aggressive into mid even. are Dignitas hunting for these kills, and they've cleaned up the round rather quickly indeed. That's 12-5 secured as Singularity look ahead towards a full buy now and an opportunity to try and stabilize this map ever so slightly, avoid dropping down into the elimination matchup later on. The Dignitas buy isn't quite as flush as they'd like it to be. There's going to be one SMG in the hands of Exist, but 4 rifles and a full complement of utility to defend against Singularity.
Yeah, this is a pretty solid buy round from Singularity coming up. And their aggression, well, they have some tempered aggression, trying to force out some utility on the side of Dignitas. Are they going to get any more aggressive? Look at that nice little short stack coming up from Dignitas. That is Blender City right there. In the meantime, B is going to be held solo by Get Right. And just jiggle peeking. The moment they peek, he's going to toss his molly, fall back, and wait for rotations. Unless he gets shot in the head.
Narrowly avoiding that particular fate, and drops a smoke down to stall this Singularity attack. It definitely hasn't dissuaded them from going in, but Dignitas are going to need a little bit more information here if they want to have a successful time of the round. Get Right hasn't been completely smoked off there either. There's a rather large gap. I'm not sure whether that's intentional or not, but he's going to get a hell of a lot of information here on this early attack. There are going to be no defenders available to help him as he looks to drop down that close range Molotov. Tobers is already on the bomb site, and it might just have to be the all-out retake here from Dignitas. The bomb's actually cut off, but no one's rotating to B because they haven't heard the plant sounds yet. Eventually, Dignitas are going to make their way over, but it is going to be the 5-on-5 retake. The spray not quite lined up perfectly there for Get Right, and what they have done is completely drained Singularity's utility.
And Dignitas have a lot of smokes and molly, a couple of nades as well available. Look at that, everything flying in. Tobers is just going to get triple naded at New Box. There's always a player at New Box. The retake's going in massively. The last man standing, Salve behind the smoke. He's going to try and spray them down through the smoke. Drop the bomb diffuser. It's actually paying off right now. One more. Does not win that one in the end. Forrest rushes through the smoke, gets the USP headshot to finish him off, but that got way too close for Dignitas. But a massive retake coming in to secure B site and get round number 13 on their side.
And now, Dignitas are charging ahead towards an early victory at the end of the first map of the day. Singularity are going to be bringing forward a buy, but they only have 3 smokes and a flashbang utility-wise to try and propel themselves to victory. And we saw just what Dignitas could do without bomb site control. All they needed was that utility to start a retake on the B bomb site, and it eventually went in their favor. Singularity, you have to say it, they're going to be desperate for these entry kills right now. They're going to be running in 2 at a time, desperate to refrag for each other and make an opening. Otherwise, Dignitas are going to be able to shut them out of this map.
That's actually, the nade did a lot less damage than I expected. A little bit of a CSGO nade right there. But they just lost one of their 3 pieces of utility on Singularity. The smoke towards short is towards long is not really going to pay off. They're going to go for the slow walk towards B again. I mean, last time they got a free side. Hopefully they'll get it again this time with Get Right now playing the coffins area.
And this time, there's so much less utility for Singularity to work with on the way in. Just the one flashbang to blind Get Right, and he can deploy a Molotov just to slow this down further. He's completely blind, and that Molotov is slightly late, but as long as he doesn't peek out, he should be okay. That is brilliant, though, from Singularity. They decimate early on. The players who come out of Boiler take 2 down on A, or at least 1 at the very minimum, and Get Right falling on B. That is not the scenario Dig wanted to work with in this round. Singularity brute forced their way in with a single flashbang and take control of the B bomb site. 2 rifles to be saved forward by Dignitas, but they might want to consider at least just a pistol buy in this next round.
Yeah, it's not going to be a healthy buy if they go for the full force, and they have so many comfortable rounds left to play. You might as well just play it safely so that you don't keep forcing yourself in. You really want to get that up on Halzerk in the next round, so if you just go for the full eco, maybe Forrest can drop a D goal or 2, and they should have healthy enough buy. Actually, it's a really poor round for Dignitas. They have to, yeah, they're going to force it because they would have to double eco on 3 of their players if they want to get anything done. So they're just going to drop some guns over and force up into this next round. Well, this is a big one for Singularity. If they manage to shut down Dignitas here, that's going to be a full eco coming through. What is their strat going to be? They have all the utility they could ever desire, whereas Dignitas, they're going to go aggressive towards Banana. And Ramoy drops the flank. But look at the nade damage already on towards Freiburg. And get right, they get dropped quickly. And that is a very painful start of the round for Dignitas.
Just ripped to pieces by the double early nade from Singularity, and then there was nothing they could do on 10 HP. It was just one bullet needed to wipe them both out. And that's given Singularity now the double entry here in round number 20 as they look to target the B bomb site once again. This time Dignitas have actually rotated every single player towards this side of the map to defend. They're still 2 men worse off, and there is so much utility available for Singularity that they should just be able to claim this one anyway. In fact, they're sending Tobiz over towards the A side of the map. He might even realize that this bomb site's completely open before they execute.
Yeah, he's just crawling in to that B-bomb site. We're panning through. A nice quick little pan right there, and he doesn't hear a single step. Might even go for the rotation towards CT, but it's silence over there. They're still going to execute towards that B site. He's hoping to hold off the flankers, but there are no flankers, and that means it's going to be a 4-on-3 push. Well, he's giving out intel. No, he's calling the rotation. They're heading over towards A, and they have been bamboozled on Dignitas. Nice flank from Tobiz, and he's all the way in graveyard. Free bomb plant, free site. The time did tick pretty low, but it is a successful round. Most likely, don't really think that Dignitas can go for the retake. They would be able to upgrade the Exist's P250 in Banana, though, and have a reasonably solid buy into the next.
Yeah, there's really no argument for Dignitas to be aggressing in this round over towards the A side of the map. Exist on his own is just going to be looking for a rifle. He's not going to be challenged for it, thankfully, but he's just being cautious. He doesn't want to give his life away because he knows how valuable that piece of equipment could be in the upcoming round. Singularity going to get 7, but instead of a hard eco in the next round, it's 3 rifles on the board. So Dignitas are going to have more firepower than perhaps expected heading into the 21st round of today's opening matchup. For Singularity, they still have work to do if they want to build some serious momentum on the T side. They've got cash reserves built up, but Dignitas were expecting to lose this upcoming round anyway. So Singularity going to be looking ahead to number 22 before they can think about start taking control of this side.
I mean, round 22 is going to be pretty tough still because they do have 3 saved rifles and they have them on their top fraggers in the team. Exist, Forrest, and Halzuk, all 3 the top of the board. I think, yeah, all 3 even top of the board in the entire server, so you do have to be very careful of their positioning on the side of Singularity. We're going to have ourselves I think this is a technical pause. So, you know, TeamSpeak issues or something. And we'll be right back for the rest of the round. However, what kind of strats are Dignitas going to do? I mean, the aggressive Banana did not work. They didn't have the utility behind it to actually try and flush out Singularity. Maybe an aggressive apps push, mid push. Nah, you really need a flash for the mid push. Oh, we just turned into a pause for the side of Singularity.
They want to have a bit of a discussion here as well, as they know those 3 players definitely going to be saving something forward in the round, and they know that both Freiburg and Get Right had rifles at the beginning, so there's a fair sense in this Singularity side that there are a healthy number of rifles saved forward into this round, and also that they're not safe because a full buy is coming forward in the next round you would have to expect regardless. So they just want to take a bit more of a timeout to have a discussion about their next 2 strategies. They very nearly did walk into a 3-man stack on that B bomb site. If it wasn't for Tobiz, the IGL lurking around the A side of the map, it could have gone very differently in that last one. So now with a bit more of an opportunity to talk about the tactics, let's see what the Danes bring forward here in number 21.
It does seem that they went for a pretty heavy nade utility buy on Dignitas nonetheless. That means next round they won't be able to get a good buy either, because they went for that small little buy there. So they're gonna be forced to most likely save the next one if they lose this one, and then go for the full buy afterwards. That round would at least be able to give them an op for Halzerk, who has already fallen in this one. But is the rifle actually retrieved? It does not seem so. The rifle is unretrievable, but exists with a double spray down, falls back towards the site, and that is a very nasty turn of events in favor of Dignitas.
Huge play from Exist there, and it looks like Get Right going through the smoke might get a free kill onto Nico does as well. Can't escape with his life. He just about gets away, in fact. He gets over-aggressive perhaps, but he's still alive and has backed away to his team. There's no rifle recoverable, but he's won the man advantage for Dignitas here, and he's made a complete mess of this round from the Singularity perspective. He charges forward for info, but he makes sound and baits running out in front. Exist can flank around onto Remoy, and the three rifles get it done. It starts off with that Exist double, and Get Right making some serious confusion for the Singularity side and earning his side round number 14.
Exist on 24 frags. The IGL absolutely crushing it in the first game of the day. This is really, yeah, this is just pretty sad for Singularity that you lose against that kind of round. I mean, Get Right just walks through the smoke. No, there was no one checking that angle. It doesn't happen too often, but it is a Get Right classic. And manages to distract them on side as well. They're just rushing through the molly right now. This is a spray down right there for Exist. Shutting two down, will lose his life in return, but a lot of damage has already been dealt. Halzerk is finally on that op, holding the arches as well. They still have a three-man defense towards that A site, with B being, again, Get Right solo, just waiting for his enemies to possibly rotate in to his crosshairs.
And that is going to be the side of the map that Singularity will be aggressing into. One smoke Molotov and flashbang remaining for the Danes. They're going to be dropping that smoke in CT, you have to imagine, but they're going to try and creep forward without utility as far as they possibly can. Halzerk is here now with the AWP and can drop a close smoke, but Tobis is already in the bomb site. Get Right holds down left click and nearly gets a second kill, but Remoy's still alive, and Halzerk, as long as he doesn't bait the sound cue there, he should be able to find the shot onto Remoy, leaving Nico does the counterpart Orpa in a 1-on-3, but he's found the first kill, and both Dignitas players are aggressing from the same angle.
They do have one nade, but no real utility to flush Nico out, so this is going to be either a dry peek or one peek up high, one peek up low. The nade coming through, he's going to get tagged. He tries to get the flick, but it does a whiff, and Forrest shuts him down. 15 for Dignitas. That's 8 just series rounds that they have to try and beat, and it is going to be nearly impossible, but, you know, in the Malta Vibes tournament, the impossible is always possible.
Well, let's see then the veterancy from Dignitas, the experience. Surely they will be able to close out the map from this scoreline. Singularity with a desperation buy, but they can get all the weapons they're looking for on the board at very minimum. They don't quite have the utility they're looking for, but they will have to make do and mend in this one. Dignitas, they look like they could be going for some more banana aggression, as Nico does aggressive on the AWP, is punished by Exist, the monster from Dignitas so far on Inferno. He secures yet another opening kill for Dig and takes Remoy down to just 40 with the utility damage as well.
Oh, Halzerk a little bit quick on that trigger finger, but will get Ronick nonetheless. 3 players left on Singularity, a smoke and a flash, and they need to clear out an entire site. This is nearly impossible, but all they need is headshots. Or a body against Exist. He does lose the fight, but a lot of damage has been dealt to Toby's. Remoy and Toby's both tagged heavily. Now the rotation coming in from Freiburg, slowly creeping his way through CT, heading towards that A side to try and help out his teammates. But what is the plan here for Singularity? They're just frozen in fear, it seems, trying to think of a plan out of this situation. What kind of move could they make to try and save this round, keep them from dropping to the losers match later today?
Well, they're holding for Dignitas aggression. They're praying that somebody makes an information play at the moment and they can convert a free kill into a 3-on-3 scenario. It's not happened, and all they've managed to do is eat up the majority of the time they had to work with. Now with just 20 seconds, they should be able to get ahead of that short smoke, but this execution is still under time pressure. Holzer's found the first kill onto Tobiz, overwhelmed by Accelerate, and Remoy finds Forest, but now he's isolated against Get Right and Freiburg in the 1-on-2. He's only got 22 HP to work with, as well as both of the Swedish veterans. They're not the highest fraggers for Dignitas, but they've been in many a situation like this in the past.
Get Right, known as the Clutch Meister. He's gonna push forward. Freiburg does win it out, but Remoy does, he does manage to get Right first. Unfortunately, because of his position, he can only get the one and done, and that is Dignitas getting 16-7, winning the map, and they're going to be facing off against, let's actually see who's going to be their opponent. I think it's the Izako Boars in the winners match coming up next after this.
Indeed, so we have your next matchups confirmed, ladies and gentlemen. The winners best of 3 between Dignitas and Izako Boars will be on this A stream, and Singularity versus the Blue Jays over on that B stream later on. Don't go anywhere, because we are going to determine which out of Dignitas and the Izako Boars are going to get that early playoff spot with the best of 3 decider in just a few moments.
Nice shot. Lock and load. Wow, very good. Let me show you how it is done. Yeah, no. Damn! That was one of the best tickle fights I've been to.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Malta Vibes, brought to you by Gaming Malta, a home of gaming excellence. It is almost time to get the winners' match of Group B underway between Dignitas and the Izako Boars, both of the winners from their best of ones. They overcame Singularity and the Blue Jays, who will be playing in an elimination match on this stream later on. But for now, we get to determine which of our two teams are going to be the first side making it to the playoffs from Group B. My name is Protalis, and talking you through this series with me is DK Truman. How are you doing?
I'm doing absolutely fantastic. It was a great performance from Dignitas in the previous series, and I do expect
Покажу слезу, чтобы шагам твоим. Я не простой, ты меня пойми. Украл твой взгляд, сижу за твои касания губ, чтобы щекам моим. Дай мне забыть, что было касанием. Но ты ведь не такая, типа как все. Я просто подожду, засоси. Не надо, не жду, мне нужно идти. Я подал с того, чтобы распяти. Думаю, ты говорил за меня, постой. Я не вкусил, говоришь, устроен сладкий. Я запретил нас со столь. Покидай, созывай пистоль. Сияй, сияй, перед возьми, увижу не я. Сияй, для меня полюбит и мотив. Я за тобой по пятам. Ты от меня, но не улетай. Просто сияй, просто сияй. Сияй, сияй, если твой возьми, увижу не я. Сияй, для меня полюбит и мотив. Я за тобой по пятам. Ты от меня, но не улетай. Просто сияй, просто сияй. Просто сияй.
Ты готов? Гореть. Быть бойцом. Рвать. Быть культовым. Надежным. Быть в игре. Неожиданным. Быть дерзким. Дерзким по полной. Быть всегда заряженным побеждать. Пари-матч. Играют они, побеждаешь ты.
Ну что, друзья, всем еще раз здравствуйте, всех еще раз рады видеть. Мы врываемся на второе противостояние на сегодняшний день, уже в рамках, соответственно, Best of 3 серии. Будут у нас сражаться ребята из команды Dignitas, которых только что видели, против команды Izako Boars. Ну вот ножи здесь вам подскажу, выигрывают Izako Boars, будут для себя выбирать сторону. Для вас по-прежнему этот турнир освещает студия Рухаб. Меня зовут Александр Закрыгдуменко, со мной мой коллега Андрей Нишарас. Андрюха, привет.
Привет, Саш, привет еще раз, дорогие зрители. Да, действительно, матчап обещает быть интересным, потому что многие там говорят, да, это изи для Blue Jays, вот это все, наберете. Я вам говорил, вы меня не слушали. Так вот, BO3, да, действительно, Dignitas и Izako Boars в рамках, я думаю, матча винеров, да, за выход из группы с первого места. И начнем мы с оверпаса. Нюк, Инферно, Десайдером. Оверпас взяли себя Izako Boars, Нюк, Dignitas и Десайдером Инферно, если потребуется. Посмотрим, поживем, увидим.
Да, побежали. Dignitas у нас будут защищаться, Izako Boars атаковать. Правильно я понимаю? Да. Может, Худ там навеселился? Или... То есть Izako Boars, выигрывая ножевой раунд, выбирают сторону атаки. Так получается?
Похоже, что так. Ну, это их собственный пик, почему нет?
Интересно. Не очень часто, конечно, мы такое можем с вами наблюдать, но, возможно, это будет действительно весьма неплохим решением для них. Давайте глядеть, тут почти что впятером. Ой, куда здесь лезет? Иксис говорит, куда, дружище? Давай там это. Не придумывай, все нормально. 5-4, большинство за Izako Boars.
Да, но если говорить про карту Оверпас в частности, то Izako Boars это 59% за КТ и 41 атаки. У Dignitas всего один матч, это проиграли, и там... Короче, не будем говорить про Dignitas и Оверпас. Там говорить не о чем. Форест падает также от Шиху. Есть минусы от Хаузерка по Эвису. Ну, 4 в 3. Поляки. Ну, Фрайберг не дал, конечно, поставить бомбу Зейну. И есть минус от Хаузерка по Туау. Гитрайт на шарте. Ой-ой-ой, уходит от воды подальше. Шиху также закрывает Гитрайт. Хаузерк пытается выжить на бочках. Бочки его спасают. А вот Эксус уже закрывает Фрайберга. И Хаузерк 1 на 1 против Эксуса. Юсп на Юсп. Только патроны заканчиваются. 5 патронов в магазине. И это все.
Это все. Да, но первый раунд есть за Izako Boars. Очень важный, очень нужный раунд. Ну и, в общем-то, ребята его себе закрывают. Форс должен быть от Dignitas. Я думаю, мы с вами его увидим. Либо
да, но мы
школа.
видим еще коэффициенты от наших друзей по рематч. 1.57 на Dignitas и 2.31 на Izako Boars, соответственно, в первой карты это было 3 серии. Но также, если вы новичок, хотите разнообразить просмотр игр, кликайте по трансляции, получайте не только шикарную лайфлинию с массой событий, но и бонусы от наших друзей по рематч.
Да, в общем-то, закупаются здесь ребята из команды Dignitas. Очевидно, форсируют эти события, по-другому никак. Сейчас уже не играют в нынешней мете. Ну и, соответственно, минута 30 на таймере. Для команды Dignitas все более чем неплохо получается. По закупке есть 2 дигла скаут и еще 2 пистолета форс с Гитрайтом. Ну, наверное, тоже там будут диглы. Вот, да, дигл у Фореста мы видим. И у Гитрайта тоже дигл. 4 дигла и скаут. Вот такая вот закупка для Dignitas во втором раунде.
Минус от Эксуса, Гитрайт отлетает здесь. Фрайберг пытается с пары что-то отработать, но опять же заходит с переменным успехом. Попытка репика монстра, возможно. Шифу смотрится за выходом. Фрайберг накинет смоук. Окей, можно работать. Хаузерк смотрит за шартом. Izako Boars, возможно, придется немножко обождать, но выходить на лоу таймингах под Б довольно опасно.
Фрайберг с диглом просматривает шорт. 5-4 большинство за Izako Boars. Ну и нужно здесь... Кстати, Dignitas решают в угадайку сыграть. И эта угадайка для них, вы знаете, весьма получается неплохо. Форес с Гзистом находят по фрагу. Фрайберг убивает еще 2х. Фрайберг убивает. И по итогу здесь остается последний Эксус против 2 игроков. Там Холзерк убегает, попадает так 7 хп. Так чисто в бачок. Ну и бомба здесь не будет установлена.
Бачок.
Да, это 1-1. И это 1-1, и здесь даже Фрайберга не смог перестрелять. Калаш кидает, говорит, дружище, бери. Мне не жалко, я возьму еще один. 1-1.
Моментальное возвращение от Dignitas, как и говорил, да, лоу тайминг и выход под базу Б на оверпасе порой карается, и меньшинство Dignitas справляется. Ну, во многом, опять же, да, заслуга Фрайберга, но... С другой стороны, Izako Boars зачем пошли до конца на Б? Ведь могли развернуться, как только увидели откидку смоков, и время позволяло, но решили, как решили.
Окей, закупка ответная. Форс на форс. Это ребята с команды Izako Boars. Там уже 5 диглов, в общем-то, без скаута, который мы видели в руках у Dignitas. Ну и может быть что-нибудь здесь придумают. Шейн там уже очень сильно получил по себе 14 хп, у него остается после этого контакта. Ну и у команды Izako Boars начинаются темные времена.
Ну, нужно делать минуса с диглов, да, как это сделали Dignitas, только вот на верпасе, наверное, посложнее будет, да, с диглами работать, если защита не агрессирует, не превращается в атаку обратную. А на минуте забайтили на молик, в остальном вроде как ничего особенного, да, там длина под 90 поджатый, второй саппорт приходит, байтит на себя, статок никто, видимо, и не вспомнит. Хаузерк начинает с опеном, падает Эксус размен от Шиху, по Фрайбергу Хаузерк на лоу хитах должен принимать угол в 90, Виктория в позицию, но спрей не пошел, и по кому соперники не открылись, Туау забирает Хаузерка, а Кзисту с длины постарается под смоками пройти.
Так, Сьюши закрывает Гзиста. Интересно, неплохо. Слушайте, как-то у Dignitas теперь на самом-то деле становятся большие проблемы. У нас здесь действительно Форесту можно вообще уходить на сейв. Потому что других вариантов-то особо, ну, нет. Можно на экзит-фрагах, конечно, как-то отыграть, сыграть. Но в итоге его закрывают. Чудеса вообще какие-то. Форс на форс, который залетает для команды Izako Boars. В общем-то, я немножко в шоке. Но здесь, наверное, ответный форс от команды Dignitas, да? В виде таких же диглов и скаута. Окей. Это прям у нас, друзья, надолго. Присаживайтесь поудобнее. У нас форсы надолго.
Есть ощущение, что сейчас Dignitas не смогут закрыть форс. Маленькое ощущение. Ну а почему так произойдет, в принципе, и посмотрим. Ну ладно, Гетрайт со скаутом. Есть у нас 3 хаешки, есть парочка смоков. Очень серьезный такой вот акцент на мид, но опять же этот акцент ничего хорошего не приносит ребятам. А со стороны атаки уже прожимается кон, двое под монстром, вырисовывается сплит на Б, и вот стяжка защиты должна быть очень своевременной, иначе могут не поспеть.
Так, все именно так, по-другому никак иначе. Ребята из команды Dignitas. Так, уху-ой-ой, от Фореста, что там залетело вообще? По Эксусу, отличный фраг, Колзак закрывает еще и Ависа. 4-3, минута времени, понятное дело, что времени-то еще есть. На Туау Фрайберг решил бежать, там 29 у Шейна хп, 7 хп у Туау.
Они вернутся куда?
Они вернутся, потому что там Сьюши, да, уже говорят, ребята, свободненько. Либо же они останутся под Б и ждут, пока Сьюши сделает шум.
Ну или такая опция, да. Хотя, опять же, наверное, все-таки куда было бы попроще выйти, даже несмотря на временную перетяжку. Так, Шиху, ну давай, Хевен открылся, забрал Зиста, окей, Гетрайт в упоре, про него есть инфа также. Гетрич вместе с Хаузаком вдвоем, и я даже думаю, что больше они будут стараться уже выживать. Ну и что, Шиху закрыл.
Ой, 8 хп, 7 хп, 29 он убегает еще. Не везет здесь, конечно же, команде Dignitas по этим процентным здоровья. Вообще беда. 15 на двоих, 29 еще и ушей. Но третий раунд здесь закроют.
Что я тебе говорил? Да, почему-то у Dignitas не пошел этот форс, хотя, опять же, изначально, видимо, сетап раунда был неправильный. Гадали, пытались отжать топ-мид, но на топ-мид никто не пошел, так что тут как бы... Окей, 3-1, да, и получается, что Izako Boars за атаку пока чувствует себя более чем комфортным. Ты вот мне скажи, как у тебя Dignitas стартом матча, потому что меня там опять обвинили в том, что сценарий на 2 игры пишется, опять параллельный счет одинаковый, представляешь?
Одинаково у нас закончились первой карте? Или что?
Ну, то, что до счета 10-5 точно, счет шел 1 в 1.
Не, у нас все, в принципе, весьма уверенно для Dignitas. Где-то в начале они немножко там решили повеселиться, но потом уверенно закрыли, в принципе, своих оппонентов. Без каких-либо проблем. А Singularity, кстати, весьма не слабый коллектив. Поэтому, ну так.
Ну, это как посмотреть, ну, да ладно. У нас тут немножко другие птички, да, действительно, Форест и компания снова Эко с одним зацельным девайсом. С надеждой на то, что как можно серьезнее станут в размены с оппонентами.
Туао закрывает Холзерга. Калаш убивает Юшек, Зист. Армора нет, вот в чем проблема. В идеале, конечно, просто взять Калаш и перейти в следующий раунд. Если получится. Но команда Izako Boars будет заходить на Б. Здесь Фрайберг в упоре. Летает. Зист закрывает еще и Эксуса. Там у него маг 10, правда, был. Но, может быть, Форест засейвит маг 10. Следующим с маком сыграет где-нибудь вблизи. Может быть, пойдет. Но у него там хп, правда, маловато. Решают ребята сыграть этим образом. На сейф убежать. Нормально пойдет. Почему бы нет?
Работает? Работает. Ну, давайте смотреть. Опять же, пока Dignitas не могут стать конкуренцией, да, сопернику. Ну, мы видим, что оверпас и защита, да, единственная карта, и не просто так до этого избегали. Да, этот оверпас Dignitas, ну, сложно пока делать какие-то выводы, даже несмотря на стартовые счеты, да, доминация от Izako Boars. Я даже не удивлюсь, на самом деле, если будет там что-то из разряда по карте и на третьем, на чаечек.
Может быть, так и будет, но, конечно, по кэпам, которые мы видели, опять же, от прематч, я вот смотрел перед матчем.
И сейчас увидим, да, 1.97 на Dignitas и 1.77 на Izako Boars, соответственно, на победителю 1 серии. Ну, пока все равно плюс-минус 50 на 50, хотя счет не 50 на 50.
Ну да, все, в принципе, именно так. Фрайберг там подгорает. 66 КП у него. 1.3 был кэп до начала этого матча на Dignitas в этом матче, соответственно, победителем. Поэтому это очень сильное преимущество, которое обычно частенько заканчивается 2-0 в пользу фаворитов. Но вот здесь Izako Boars на первой карте уже показывают борьбу, ведут 4-1, может быть, доведут дело до победы, но пока об этом рановато говорить, очевидно. Очень. Фрайберг пристреливает с Юши.
Да, первый падает на заходе, Туао с туалетом в глубине пытается отработать. В упоре Дугизист, Эвис в упоре. Эвис. И чекает, и не чекает, и убивает размен от Халзерка. Ну, слишком много, да, здесь.
4 в 3, большинством за дигами. Шейн. Там можно, конечно, кстати, откинуть по Фрайбергу. Да. Закрывается Фрайберг этой самой Хае. Халзерк. Вместе с Туао здесь ребята будут бежать на Б. Ну и принимать будет это Гетрич. Гетрич слышит. Одного закрыли. Гетрайта не знают, но Гетрайта убивает Туао. По итогу Эксус убивает еще и Фореста. И вот Халзерк здесь очень важная позиционка, но снайпер не ошибается. Это 5-1. Какой-то невероятный раунд проигрывают здесь Dignitas для себя.
Хотя, казалось бы, тут уже мне в чате снова начинают кидать предъяву. Да вот, опять спойлер. Да не знаю, где спойлер, друзья. У тех, у кого спойлер, тот как бы плюс в чат ставит, как всегда, да, получается. Но...
Сейчас поставлю.
Dignitas вроде как снова без денег на полный бай, но могут сделать условно до 2000. Что работает.
Там просто нужно стараться по возможности либо прям в конце где-то раунда показывать, либо прям в самом-самом начале, чтобы кэфчики не успели уже спрыгнуть. поменяться, потому что когда в конце фристайма они уже, скорее всего, будут действительно спойлерами лететь. 5-2, 5-1. Форс последний, это 6-й раунд за Izako Boars. 6-1. Очень и очень серьезно для этих парней сейчас проходит оверпас. Пока.
Round at all, but it is definitely the next one they're going to be working with, and you're absolutely right on that warping point as well, because of the weird economic game that happened at the start where Dignitas won the second round but then lost control. It's been so late into the half before Halzerk has had an AWP available, and they can really make the difference on the CT side of Overpass. So I think it's been great work from the Izako Boars to keep Dignitas's economy in so much trouble so far, and if they can keep this up, their own map pick here on Overpass is going to be a breeze.
Yeah, this they really need to shut down that Halzerk op now quickly, and Halzerk is going to go for the quick peek. That's going to give a lot of intel that they're not heading towards the A site. Get Right jumping wide. Get Right still is on 0 kills so far. Never mind, there's his first headshot onto Tau. Nice spray through the smoke. A little bit of tag onto Avis as well, and a good opener for Dignitas, something that they desperately need because this is otherwise looking a little bit too problematic on their CT side of all places.
Waiting for the Izako Boars aggression. Forrest has spotted out these short players, so they know the aggression's coming in, but he can't convert any kills. It's Get Right who's found Shui, but as he peeks up for another, he's taken down. Freiburg's found by Shane as well, which means it's a 2-on-3 retake on the B-bomb site yet again for Dignitas as they struggle much more here than they did on Inferno. Brilliant nade kill from Exist, though, is going to bring it back into a winnable 2-on-2. That whiffed shot from Exus makes it all the more likely now for Dignitas as they look to charge in with Exist in the front lines. They dump the utility, flashes and smokes to be deployed as Arvis has to hold the close angle. Swings right, but Halzerk finds that AWP shot, and Exist on the kit has just enough time to secure that defuse. It's Halzerk who will bring it through, but the result is the same. The victory for Dignitas and the breakup of the Izako Boars momentum.
Yeah, that Exist nade from heaven to even it out to a 2 versus 2. Massive kills coming through to clutch it out for the Dignitas side.
And now we have the opportunity to talk about our case partners over at Hellcase, the biggest and most well-known case opening website that features almost 100 cases, the updated case battle, upgraded, dozens of giveaways per month, and tons more unique features. The Izako Boars have got so much cash in the bank, they're still going to be buying forward, and it looks like they want to go with the contact play on the B site now.
Yeah, they're gonna rush in aggressively this time. Will they catch him off guard towards water? He's completely blind. Oh, they spot each other a little bit too late. Ava loses that duel. Big out wide. Freiburg gets a double, but there is still Force on the site. It is gonna be a 2-on-2 situation. All 4 towards that B site, ready to engage. X is alone with that op. Does whip the shot from close range onto Forrest. They know exactly where the opper is, and Forrest, is he going to be able to catch him? They're not going to win that duel on Izako Boars. The quick play, it looked like it would possibly pay out, but unfortunately the flash came through and he could not clear out water in time. So that is going to be Dignitas 3, Izako Boars 6, but they still do have a pretty healthy buy on the Boars side.
They won't have the economy on their side for much longer, although their loss bonus is growing. I reckon they have about 1 more full buy left in them if the one and only decides to drop weaponry over. And this time the Izako Boars, it looks like a much slower start to the round. They leave the bomb in a safe position and just try and take early map control as they look to burn Dignitas's utility here and make it an easier effort for them to walk into a bomb site in the late round.
Yeah, the utility has actually been expended for a decent amount on the side of Dignitas. Izako Boars, they still have a 3. Oh my god. Get Right again through the smoke. Almost takes down Exus. Oh, that, just don't get in front of the smoke when Get Right's nearby. It hurts way too much.
Certainly does.
They really do favor that B site on Izako Boars, like massively.
They don't want to risk, I feel, losing the opening trades towards Fountain or A main and going a man down, because the Dignitas trade fragging is just superb, that if they get the opening kill, they're in a great position to defend these bomb sites. The B site is the one being attacked yet again as Forrest finds the burst through the smoke. The one and only's taken his teammate, but he's still alive and dropped the bomb. Should be pushing around to flank him. It's Shane though who falls down, and Forrest is holding on his own. All 4 kills for the veteran Swedish rifler. Can he make it the ace as Exus on just 16 HP? He's going to retreat and not afford him the opportunity. Forrest has been absolutely huge so far today for Dignitas.
Now that's a massive hold. Jiggle peeking around that pillar. Through the smoke, everything on his side, and a massive hold to keep his team on top. It is now going to be 4 rounds for Dignitas. They will keep that op alive and should be able to buy a little bit around it, 2 rifles, and yeah, that's, you know, it's still decent enough buy coming through, but look at this defense.
This is phenomenal. 2 back-to-back headshots, turns around for Shane, and then the 180 onto Avis. That is absolutely ridiculous in the B-bomb site. Izako Boars, they can bring out a buy, but this is the dodgy one. A Galil and a Tech 9 complementing the 2 AKs and AWP available.
That's dodgy buy at best. Utility's also pretty lackluster on the Izako Boars side. But are they going to adjust their strat, or are they going to stick with the, well, pretty much rush B eventually kind of ordeal? I think their A plan was actually pretty good earlier, but they really do not like that A site. They're slowly clearing it out towards that area, though. Finally going for a little bit more of an information play. Even if you don't go for the site, you just spook Izako, Dignitas back towards the site. Halsvik is actually going to get aggressive exist. Same thing, they're going to peek in. And Halsvik is going to slowly peek forward. That Molly is going to... I think they heard that tick of the Molly, so they know that they definitely heard that scope from Halsvik close by. So Shui, is he going to peek out wide? They have to be careful. No team flash coming in from Izako Boars, so Shui's going to have to go for the drive B. Close range, misses the shot. Luckily enough, Shui does not connect the spray. The smoke actually whipped from Halsvik, trying to molly Shui out. Shui is close range. The peek wide and exist. Saves his teammate there. Freiburg is going to get shut down by X's in the meantime from a long, and Halsvik with that op is getting close range. They might not expect him right behind him. They do. Tao turns around, shuts down Halsvik, and it's going to be a 3-on-3 take on towards the A side. Bomb is ticking down. 20 seconds left. They have to make a play right now on the side of Izako Boars. They're getting close towards Struck. That's 1 more down. Tao beats out wide into 2. Exists getting a double. He's trying to go for the triple, but he's going to get shut down, and it is still for Get Right chiming in. Dignitas 5, Izako Boars 6, and the score is almost even.
Despite not finding